finally made it back to the River Couple, or Couple, however it's pronounced. Came by here a couple of days ago. Taking other images in Glen Coe. Unfortunately, it was getting a bit dark then, so I gave this a miss and thought I'd come back a couple of days later, which I've now done, and I'm glad I've done so. This place is absolutely awesome. Got nice high levels in the river, which makes these falls and rapids look absolutely brilliant, absolutely stunning. You can pretty much see all of Etivemont. There's very little cloud. There's a little bit of cloud on the top, and I've managed to get a few images with a bit of sunlight speckling the top of the peak, and hopefully they'll come out okay. I've managed to get quite a few competitions, including copied several I've already seen in books or on the internet, so I'm quite pleased with those. I'm going to have a look around, see if there's any more competitions I can make. As you can possibly tell, it is raining. Since I've been doing more and more of that this afternoon. As I'm heading along this track off the main road that goes through Glen Coe, as I'm stopping off and looking at the waterfalls. I think I mentioned earlier they're called some of them are called the Triple Falls. I actually bypassed one of them on the way down here. I thought I'm going to get that one on the way back up, but then I did see another one that I just had to stop. It's one I've seen in books. I've been down to it and managed to get a few compositions that I like. I thought about vlogging and then completely changed my mind. It was very slippy and not overly safe down there, so I didn't want to be talking to camera and misplace my foot and slip and fall in the water, because one, I'd get wet, and two, I'd probably injure myself quite badly, because that although the drops aren't really high, they are probably 1 metre to 2 metre in places. And if I fall and land funny, I've sort of broken a bone, bashed my head, or could have done all sorts. It would be quite easily to seriously injure myself, and there's nobody else around to rescue me, and I don't particularly want that. So yeah, I've been down there. I don't know if you can see, we've got another runoff coming from the hills, and oops, that's not very good. There we go. You can see that's adding to all the water down there, which is making these falls really nice today. A lot better than they were the other day. Excuse me while I just get the camera a minute. Hopefully that's a bit better for you. If we just pan you around a little bit, that's the falls down there. You can't really see much of the falls going down there at the moment because it's hidden by the rocks, but once you get down onto the rocks, you can take some quite nice images. I've done a few just single shots, and then I've done a panoramic, which if you can see, you might just be able to make out a boulder sort of in the middle. Let's see if I can get my finger in the way. Oop. There we go. There's a big chunk of rock, not boulder, a big chunk of rock there, and the water's running all the way around it. So I've managed to get a panoramic including that. So hopefully that doesn't look too bad. It's a similar image to what I've seen in the books and online. So hopefully it will come out quite nicely. I'll just clear the camera again. Hopefully I haven't blurred that. Doesn't look too bad. Right, I'm going to get back in the car now because it is starting to hammer it down. I'm going to move on to my next competition, which is down this road here. I'll poke that car. I think this is actually the bottom end of the Triple Falls. So I think there's one in the middle and there's one further up. Or I could be wrong. People slowing down to see what I'm doing. Lovely. Well, yeah, I'm going to head down there, probably down to where I was originally a couple of days ago, because I think those rapids and little falls will be quite nice today. Verging on spectacular. I hope that's not overselling it, but I'm going to get on and go and have a look. Okay, I'm at the end of the line as far as these rapids go. Probably going to end up on this bridge here, taking images back up, is it back up river? Back up river, to this part of the falls here. Rapids I should call this, isn't really a fall. And then when I've done here, oops, the wrong way, we'll just make our way round the bank along the river, and there's some other rapids and falls bits just a bit further along. These aren't as spectacular as the, well, I say spectacular, the amount of water is spectacular, but the rapids themselves, they're so-so. I might be able to make a couple of images. I don't know if I'll be able to improve on what I did the other day, but we'll give it a go. I think the actual better composition, if I remember rightly, is going to be a little bit further up the river, up there. So I'm going to have a go at a few of those. Okay, I've come back to the car now. The weather's taken a turn for the worse. The rain's coming down quite heavily. Oh, is that a heron? Yep, that's a heron. Sorry, distracted by a heron coming down to the riverbank. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you that. My camera's not going to pick it up, and it's just gone out of view. Sorry. As I suspected, the images I was looking for from the footbridge weren't very good at all. I slightly remember them being better from the other day, but it's been a long couple of days, so I'll probably just remember it wrong. So I then went further up the river to the bend that I think I pointed out earlier on, although you couldn't actually see the falls from where I was. That bit of river is a lot better, far more photographic, or photogenic I should say, than the bit by the bridge. Managed to get quite a few nice images. Just the location allows you to take images of the falls, looking up the falls, across the falls and down the falls, looking back towards the footbridge. I call it a footbridge, it's a bridge that you can take vehicles over to. I think there's just over that way, although you certainly can't see it from here, there's somebody's house and a number of buildings, so I think it's made for vehicles, not just footbridge. But yeah, I've managed to take a couple of images looking back this way, which you can quite nicely see my car in the background. I may get rid of that. It depends how bothered I can be when to get home and get these images back on the computer. I probably will make the effort just to clean up the image a bit. I think I also noticed at one point there was a van kicking around as well, which I want to get rid of. So two vehicles right in the background to kind of distract from the actual image. But considering the rain, I wasn't going to hang around and wait for the other vehicle to move, and I certainly wasn't going to come back and move my car and then go back and take images with it out of the way. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do something with that in Photoshop. Okay, plan for the rest of the day. So I'm going to make my way back up the river. There's still a few more falls that I want to take images of, but that's going to depend on the weather. If it doesn't ease up, I may just make the decision to go back to my lodgings, which is a shame because this is my last day in Scotland and I really would like to capture those images. So it's going to be a little while before I come back, although I am planning to come back. I just don't know when. So yeah, I'd like to capture them images before I go, but we'll see. Okay, I've come back up the river now and I'm back at the Triple Falls. Depending on which way you come up or down the road, I'm at either the first one or the last one. I've skipped the one in the middle because I did that the other day and I'm quite happy with those images. I'd done the first one or the last one, again depending on which way you're coming up and down the road, earlier on, and I've possibly already put those images up. So I've come to this last one, and fortunately as I got here the rain had eased off somewhat, so that was quite nice. So I went out, did a few different compositions, one from a little further down the river looking up at the falls, and then one I think looking back down the falls, or sort of from the side up and back down. So a couple of fairly reasonable images there. The rain's come back with a vengeance, so I've hopped back in the car. I think it's pretty much the end of my day for today, so I'm going to go find somewhere to have something warm to eat, then I'm going to head back to my digs. On the way back I will be going by Loch Lomond, and there's a couple of locations there that I want to do. One is the Falls of Falloch, which look fairly interesting, and then there's another one that doesn't got a particular name. It's just on the side of the road. I spotted a big cascade of water coming down the mountainside, so as long as I can remember where that is, I'm going to stop off and take a few images of that. Should just be able to pull in to the car park on the side of the road, take some images, get back in the car and then shoot off again. But that's it from this location, and I may or may not see you at the next ones. Okay, I've made a quick stop off at the Falls of Falloch. Just going to head down and have a quick look, see what there is there. From up here, looks like there's a lot of water coming through it. Have a look and see if there's any images we can take. Very, very simple. I've managed to come. Okay, there was no way of backtracking on the bit of path I've taken to reach that bit of the river, that bit of the falls, so I thought I'd head on up the track, the pathway, and I'm rather glad I did. So I appear to have found the falls. I don't think that was it down there, that was just a little bit of the river. So, yeah. If you can actually see that because of all the white coming off that, very bright. But that looks it's a pretty spectacular fall. Again, there's a lot of water coming over that. That one is coming over it, but we're anywhere near it. That's an impressive waterfall. Managed to get a couple of images from one location, but I moved around to try and get a slightly lower angle, but as it started to rain and all the mist coming off the waterfall, it just kept missing up the images. I just couldn't focus the camera to save my life, whether I was on manual or auto. So I gave up on that one. I'm now heading back to the car and back to my final location today, which is a waterfall by the side of the road.